If you want an example of one single individual in Australian politics who represents everything that's gone wrong with the system, well, here he is. Labor Senator Sam Dastyari. Now, at Mark Latham's Outsiders, we've been on this guy's hammer. We've been monitoring what he's been doing. First of all, there was his anti-white racism. Remember this?
If you are a old, white.
Now, Dastyari, of course, is an example of multiculturalism gone wrong. His family came to Australia from Iran in the late 80s. He had every opportunity through selective high school, university, promoted through the Labor Party. Why turn around and introduce skin colour, demonising white people in Australia? That's not what multiculturalism should be about. So Dastyari fouled his own nest at that point, and of course then we found out his kids are white. Why would a senator be demonising people on the basis of white skin colour when, look at these little girls he uses in his videos, exploitation of his kids to make political points. Here they are, as white as the Christmas snow. And then we find out from Dastyari, not only is he an anti-white racist, he's a snob. He was out there sneering at modest housing stock in Western Sydney, an infamous Facebook video that just showed how out of touch he is and how out of touch the Labor Party's become. Have a look at Dastyari sneering at ordinary folks in Western Sydney.
This is what $1 million in Sydney will buy you. This, what's called a classic house in the suburb of Ryde, immaculately kept as it's been told, on one of the busiest roads of Sydney to boot. And you know if it's got security shutters, you're onto a good thing. People like to talk about how a generation of young people are being picky. We are an hour and 20 away in peak hour traffic from the CBD of Sydney, and all $1 million will buy you is essentially a block of land across the road from not only a power station but also the train line. And all you're really paying for is the chance to spend another couple $100,000 to build something. This is what $1 million will buy you in North Mead, but it's okay because it's described as having a functional kitchen. For a fucking $1 million, you'd like to think the kitchen can work.
And now what we've got in Australian politics is further confirmation of Dastyari being an absolute shocker. We find out absolutely conclusively that in the last federal election campaign, Labor announced a policy through its defence spokesperson in relation to the South China Sea. It upset one of their potential donors, a Mr. Hong, and when he said he was going to withdraw $400,000 in funding, Dastyari the very next day does a press conference with Mr. Hong to reassure him that he should donate the money, and Labor hasn't got that policy at all for the Chinese. Now, I don't think we should have donations from foreign countries going into Australian politics, and we shouldn't have anyone like Sam Dastyari using his position of influence to trade away policy for cash. This is an example of cash for policy. The worst ethical decline you'll ever see in a political party. But Labor tolerates this guy. He's put in shocker after shocker after shocker, and still he's been promoted to be one of the Labor whips in the Senate, an extra paid position. He's endorsed and lionised by sections of the left-wing movement in Australia. It's time for Bill Shorten and the Labor Party to get serious about Dastyari. Knock off all his official positions and say to the Australian people, this bloke is unfit to be a representative in the Australian Parliament. He's unfit to be a senator, and take away his endorsement for the next election. He's put in a shocker time after time. We've had enough of Dastyari and all his rubbish. It's time to get rid of this bloke, right now. I'm Mark Latham for Rebel Australia. If you like this video, share it on all your social media, Twitter, Facebook, wherever you can, and sign up to Rebel Australia for all our campaigning for a better country.